Hello, Driver's Ed students. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 5, Part 1 and Part 2. Chapter 5 is Reducing Risk with IPDE. I think IPD is the most important chapter that we'll do in the book. It is the basis for everything that we will do in the car while we are driving. First of all, we have to be able to identify and understand risk factors. Risk factors are anything that can increase the possibility of a collision. They can be driver-contributed risk factors, whether you're adjusting the radio, using your cell phone, eating or drinking. There could be vehicle-contributed factors that you are responsible for. It includes dirty windshields, bald tires, broken headlights, or worn wiper blades. And then roadway and environment contributive factors. Road construction, the sharp curve in the road, ice and snow. Conditions such as bright sun, dark shadows, and glare also contribute to the driving task. You can watch a short little video here on IPDE.
You've got to constantly be IPDing everything in your target zone. I don't know what you're saying. IPD, identify, predict. Yeah, you said that, but it doesn't mean anything. IPD that. It's a child with a ball. Very good. Identify. Now, predict. Predict what? IPD! Yeah, you keep saying that like it's a word. Those 4 letters don't make a word. It's not helping me remember anything. Now you've got an oncoming vehicle. Pay attention to your 4 to 6 second zone. What is that? 4 to 6 second? IPD the car, Brian. IPD the car! What does that mean? Now check your gauges with one eye while keeping your other eye on the road. My eyes go in the same direction. What's your tire pressure? I'm in the car. Stop! Demerit! Stewie, I know how to drive. I've been driving for years. Ever hear of IPD, jackass?
That is a great video. Okay, the IPDE process, we want to develop good searching habits and the ability to manage space on the roadway are basic tools for low-risk driving. The IPD or IPD process, along with the zone control system, can help you enjoy low-risk and low-stress driving. Driving is primarily a thinking task. It is much more mental than it is physical. Okay, there's a lot of thinking going on, a lot of stuff we have to think about as we are driving. Drivers who develop an organized system that deals with all traffic possibilities have fewer crashes than drivers who don't use an organized system. The IPDE process is an organized system of seeing, thinking, and responding. Okay, it is 4 steps. I for identify, P for predict, D for decide, and E for execute. Okay, so what are we identifying? We are going to use a visual search pattern to identify open and closed zones. We're going to identify specific clues, other roadway users, roadway features and conditions, and traffic control such as stop signs and traffic lights. We need to predict. We are going to use knowledge, judgment, and experience to predict actions of other users, change of direction, points of conflict, and consequences of your own actions. Then we need to decide to use one or more action to change or maintain speed, change direction, and communicate. The final step, we will execute your decision to control your speed, steer, communicate, and combine actions. Whether you know it or not, you've been using the IPDE process for a long time. When you're riding your bike in the neighborhood, when you're at a crowded shopping mall or on crowded sidewalks, crowded halls in school, you're always identifying, predicting, deciding, and executing. So the first step is to identify. You must know where, when to look, where to look, how to look, and what to look for. The sooner you identify a possible hazard, the more time you will have to react safely. Clues you identify may cause you to change direction or speed, signal others, or perform any combination of maneuvers. Okay, the zone control system. You can see on the diagram here, there are 6 zones that we need to be aware of when we're driving. A zone is one of 6 areas of space around a vehicle that is the width of a lane and extends as far as the driver can see. An open zone is a space where you can drive without a restriction to your line of sight or to your intended path of travel. A closed zone is a space not open to you because of a restriction in your line of sight or intended path of travel. We have our front zone, our rear zone, our left front and our left rear zone, our right front and our right rear zone. We want to perform an orderly visual search pattern, and that is a process of searching critical areas in a regular sequence. We are going to look for clues in and around our path of travel in a systematic manner. Practice using your orderly visual search pattern as a passenger so it will become a safe driving habit. For an orderly visual search pattern, you should look ahead to your target area range, evaluate your zones, and search for possible changes in your line of sight and path of travel. Glance constantly in your rearview mirror. Evaluate your 4 to 6 second range. Look ahead to evaluate another 12 to 15 second range. Check your 4 to 6 second range. Glance in the rearview mirror, then check your speedometer and gauges. Okay, what is our target area? The target area is the section of the roadway where the target is located in the center of your intended path in the area to it right and left. Your line of sight is the distance you can see ahead in the direction you are looking. And your intended path of travel is the space your vehicle will occupy. Your path of travel is directed toward your target area. Okay, there are three searching ranges. The first searching range is your target area range. You can see on the diagram that's as far out as you can see. Okay, it's usually maybe about 2 blocks. The second searching range is the 12 to 15 second range, which is there in the middle. This is the space that you will travel in during the next 12 to 15 seconds. So it's about 1 block usually. The third range is the 4 to 6 second range in the space you will travel in the next 4 to 6 seconds. The area you can see around you while looking straight ahead is your field of vision, 180 degrees. You can see on the diagram there. The area you can see clearly and sharply is seen with your central vision. This is a narrow cone, only up to 10 degrees, so pretty much straight ahead in front of you. Your peripheral vision is the area you can see to the left and right of your central vision. The further away from the central vision, the less clear it is. So your peripheral vision is off to the side, which you'll be tested on when you get your learner's permit. We want to develop the art of scanning. We want to glance continually and quickly throughout your orderly visual search pattern. You should scan constantly while you drive, but do not stare. You'll hear your behind the wheel instructor telling you this a lot. Scan, don't stare. We want to use selective seeing, which means you identify and select only those clues and events that restrict your line of sight and can change your intended path of travel. All right, so what are we looking for? We're looking for zones that may close. We're looking for other roadway users, roadway features and conditions, such as intersections, which are high-risk areas. change from multi-lane to single lane, we don't want to wait until the last minute to change lanes. We want to be able to identify changes in lane width, the roadway surface, roadway hazards, and traffic controls. Now we're going to watch another video on the IPDE process. I'll do a little talking over the video while we're watching it.
The IPTE process enables you to enjoy safe, low-risk driving. There are 4 key steps in the IPTE process: identify, predict, decide, and execute. The IPTE process is an organized system of seeing, thinking, and responding to what you encounter on the roadway. The first step of the IPTE process is to identify. Watch the yellow car driving down this residential street. What can you identify that might affect your path of travel?
Let's try to identify all hazards here. It's going to affect our path of travel. We saw a boy bouncing a ball, parked car, a crosswalk, oncoming vehicle. See a little construction area up ahead. Another crosswalk with a stop sign.
You should have identified a child playing with a ball, a car in the driveway, an oncoming car, and a road repair barricade. Also, the parked van causes a line-of-sight restriction that can block your view. When you search, you need to identify anything that could affect your path of travel: other roadway users, roadway conditions, traffic controls, and line-of-sight restrictions. Now, let's look at the scene you just saw again, this time with only one hazard, using an orderly visual search pattern to identify clues in and around your intended path of travel. This time you will view this scene from the driver's seat. First, look ahead to your target area to identify anything that might affect your path of travel.
Again, we're looking toward our target area.
Look for changes in your line of sight and path of travel.
We're looking about 12
to 15 seconds ahead.
down the road.
Notice that your left front zone is closed by the oncoming car, and that your right front zone is closed by the parked cars and van. Once again, look ahead to check your target area. Glance in your rearview mirror to check your rear zone. When you are in your 4 to 6 second range, check your front zone. Search to the left and to the right. Look ahead again to evaluate the 12 to 15 second range. Glance at your rearview mirror to check the rear zones. Check your speedometer and gauges occasionally. Then repeat this visual search pattern continually as you move forward. The second step of the IPTE process is to predict. Once you have identified a possible hazard, you should predict how it might affect your intended path of travel. Watch the yellow car driving down this residential street. What do you predict can affect your path of travel?
Think about what can affect your path of travel right here. The parked car, the oncoming car. And another parked car.
Now let's look at this situation again to see how the collision could be avoided. This time we will view the scene from the driver's point of view. To avoid the collision, you would identify a parked van restricting your line of sight and closing your right front zone. You would predict that a parked vehicle might pull out into your path of travel. You need to evaluate your zones to predict what action to take. You see that your left front zone is not open because of the oncoming car. Then you check to see if your rear zone is open. After you have made these predictions, what should you do next? The third and fourth steps of the IPTI process are to decide and execute. You will need to decide what action to take and then carry it out. Maintain or change speed, change direction, or communicate, or any combination of these actions. If you decide to slow down, you will execute by releasing the accelerator and then applying the brake. If your left front zone is open, you might decide to execute by steering into lane position 2. Sometimes you may also decide to communicate to others and execute by motioning to the other driver to proceed. Now you have learned how to use the IPTI process to identify, predict, decide, and execute. Later you will learn how to apply this process to other situations.
All right, a lot of good information in that video, especially the being able to identify hazards as the parked cars as hazards. As we drive around Oak Park, we'll notice that we are always dealing with parked cars on the side of the road. We always have to make sure that we are identifying those hazards. We are looking for turn signals, brake lights, pedestrians. We want to try to leave about a door length from those parked cars if we can. Okay, so section 5.2 is about the predict step. When you predict, you take the information you have identified and imagine what might happen. You predict where possible points of conflict may occur. Predicting involves what is happening in your zones, what could happen, and if it does happen, how the change could affect you. To predict, you must evaluate the situation and make a judgment about the possible consequences. As you gain driving experience, you will become more selective about which hazards or possible conflicts are critical. Do not assume other roadway users will always take the correct action.